Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And I know you're saying, Larry, why are we having an AMA today? Usually AMAs are Friday or Saturday. True, but I'm not sure what I'm doing this weekend. So I figured I'd pop an AMA now. And tomorrow at 8 p.m., I have the Sharpe Club. It is returning with 3 cool people who I'll be posting soon. You can see that be me and 3 people tomorrow, just chatting about stuff in general. But so today I decided, let me give everybody an AMA so you can ask me all the questions you want. As usual, before you do that, though, of course, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. That's the 1 to click so that other people can see this and watch this and enjoy all the good things that we're doing here. The reason why I picked this topic is because of what I talked about, believe it or not, yesterday, and then what I saw again today. There seems to be an amount of disrespect that is becoming the norm. And obviously I get it all the time, right? One of the worst parts of running for office, and I say this all the time, is the constant stream of disrespect you get when you run. It's one of the reasons why people don't want to run. It's just people shitting on you, people shitting on you, people shitting on you again and again, again and again. It's constant. It's all the time. It's why so many politicians just shut off the comments. I get why they do it. I'm not saying they should, but I'm saying I understand why. And the harder part is you get it from people who, oh my God, how you're doing this to me? You got your mouth open? Wow. It's constant. And it can be challenging for people. And some people will break and get angry and say things. I've done it too. I've been angry and insulted people and just, attacked back because I was just so tired of disrespect. It becomes challenging for people to deal with it. And I always knew as an independent candidate, that's the norm. But now it's everywhere. It's all over. And I've seen a couple things. I want to pop a couple of them up. This is the one from yesterday. Just so you see this one. And we saw a bit of it, so I'll be short. But just so you'll know, let me see if I can get rid of this piece real fast. Yeah, pop this piece up. And this is AOC from yesterday talking about, if you remember, Stephen Miller.
The clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10", and he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10", and he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible.
Now, you might say, Larry, I don't like Stephen Miller, so that's funny. I mean, maybe. I don't care if you like Stephen Miller or not. I don't care. The point is, she's a congressperson. She's supposed to, in theory, not be doing ad hominem attacks. But, I mean, clearly that's just theory, not fact. In reality, she's doing it. There we go. She's supposed to be one of the leaders in the Democratic Party. So why would she do that? Well, because that's become the norm. But I'm not done. The other thing I saw, this goes to, this was earlier today. This is not just Republicans. She was a Democrat. This is now Republicans and Democrats together. They decided they want to publicly yell at each other. Yep.
Got a 1-year extension. Why don't we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
You can easily extend the ACA right now.
Did your boss, Donald Trump, give you permission?
He's not my boss.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
so let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to shut the government down?
Now, there's no conversation here, right? This is just a show to yell at each other, right? All the cameras there, everyone's sitting there, right? The Hill's there. There's no actual back and forth. No one, it's just, let me go yell at each other. Now, what I got to do is I got to give Hakeem Jeffries, and I never, ever give Hakeem Jeffries any props ever. He's so terrible. I mean, Democrats think he's terrible. Everyone thinks he's terrible because he's terrible. There's no doubt in every way he's terrible. But he did stand up for once. I mean, credit where, I mean, not like Lawler, so, he's gone, but at least he stood up to something. So, you know what, Hakeem? I give you a little bit of props here. Yeah, you stood up once in your life, did something, and you didn't back down for a couple seconds. So I guess that's something.
Why did you vote to shut it down?
Let me ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on to this.
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You could sign on to this. The only embarrassment here is you.
You're an embarrassment.
You could sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here. Why won't you sign on?
This is just yelling back and forth, right? Total disrespect. Everyone's watching. There's nothing substantive here at all. And if you've noticed, this has become more common. I picked this one. This is not the first time it's happened, obviously, but I picked this because AOC just did this, her little TikTok thing. And now this is now happening. And then the last piece I want to bring up. This is the last piece I want to bring up, which this is why I want to bring up all three of them. This is Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, of course, was at a Senate hearing. And she didn't care either. She was just yelling and screaming back at them, right? Not that I'm mad at her, but to be forward, I mean, I kind of get it. But it's just hasn't in the past.
Moments after taking the hot seat,
the norm.
It was heated for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this.
Facing questions about controversial firings and cases, Bondi repeatedly fired back.
You didn't complain for 4 years when President Trump was being targeted by Jack Smith, by the last Justice Department.
The Attorney General refused to answer many Democrats' questions.
Now, if you're someone who likes Pam Bondi, like if you like AOC, you probably enjoy AOC yelling about Stephen Miller and calling him short and short shaming. It probably feels good to you if you like AOC and don't like Republicans. If you're a Republican, you probably love Pam Bondi yelling at Democrats and saying you guys are bad. I get it. It does feel good if you're on that side. But is it helpful? Is it good? Is it the norm? What is it showing? And here is my concern. I mean, she went on.
I don't know the answer, Senator.
Yet you do know the answer to
Don't
that.
call me a liar.
And Bondi
Now, I got to tell you, I love the pushback. I do. Now, not because I care about Pam Bondi. I don't. But these senators are always just doing these hearings for only one reason. They're doing them so they can grandstand. So she got to grandstand back, which I'm saying, well done, Pam. Like, good for you, Attorney General. They want to grandstand, you grandstand it. So everyone gets to grandstand. So I guess it's fair, I guess. These hearings don't mean anything, right? There's no value except for CBS Evening News gets to provide some more content. That's all they're there for, right? But my point being, I don't remember a time when I was younger, at least, where people would counter insult senators. That wasn't a thing. Now it's the norm. Is this a Trump thing? And it's an honest question. And part of me says yes. And that's one of the reasons why he's president. Because he yelled back at the establishment and said, you guys have been screwing us for years, go to hell. Now, obviously, he's become the establishment, but that isn't the point. The point is, he was yelling back. Now Pam Bondi's yelling back. AOC's like, I'm going to get on it and I'm going to yell back. And people want to yell back, and I get it. But there's a couple problems here. Nothing's solved. Number one, nothing gets solved. It's just, I'm going to yell at you, right? Yelling back and forth feels good. But then, of course, it becomes performative. And now what's happening? Now the most important thing becomes, I fight. Not that I'm effective, just that I fight. That I virtue signal, not that I fix anything. Because we believe, as Americans, and maybe not you or me specifically, but as Americans, we believe this is a fight of good versus evil. And some of you listening and watching right now, you believe that. So you love when AOC attacks Stephen Miller because he's the evil one and she's the good one, obviously, because he's evil. Or you love when Pam Bondi yells at some Democratic senator because they're the evil one and she's the good one. So yay, go strike the evil one. But that's also not healthy, even though I know it does feel good. I get it. Not feel good. The other problem is the assumption then becomes, for everyone who's not on your side, the assumption is bad faith. The assumption is when anyone runs for office, when anyone has an idea, when everyone has a plan, when everyone says anything, bad faith. And I see it all the time. I see it in my thumbnails. I'll ask a question. Do you think Trump did the right thing? Like, that's a question. And then everyone who loves Trump goes, of course, Larry. Why would you? How dare you question Trump? You're an evil liberal or whatever. Or the Democrats go, oh my God, how could you ask that question? Of course, Trump is evil. Everything he does is wrong and evil. Why are you a Trumpster now, Larry? So I get the immediate assault, the immediate assumption of bad faith, because how dare I not say all the things required to either hate Trump or love Trump, depending on what side you're on. Not good. It also creates litmus tests. I have to ask the question, so you say the words. If you don't say the words, you're a bad person. You're obviously not on my side, so you're against me. This is a big worry I have. I feel that this disrespect is all throughout politics now. I don't see it coming back. I don't know it. And I feel it too. I'm not immune to this at all. I feel it too. And I guess the worst part is I think that it's within all of our culture also. We are part of now of a culture of disrespect. It's not a good place to be. So I've yapped away a bit, not that long this time. I just want to come up a bit, and I will go to some of our questions and comments. By the way, guys, please reshare this, post this if you can. Post this someplace, reshare this. It does matter. Let me walk down a couple of these. Massman says, I just finished watching Larry and Kim Iverson. Thank you for watching. Thank you. I hope it was a good one. For those of you who don't know, I did officially announce my run for the governor of New York State. I announced it officially today. So it is true. That is happening. So I appreciate it. Remember, this is not that. This is the Sharpe Way Show. It is a separate entity. If you want to support my governor run, you may. That's over on LarrySharpe.com. Feel free to go over there. If you want to support me, that's awesome. Up to you. This is the Sharpe Way Show. So thank you for that. Yes, it is true. Yes. Vivek says, who do you think will be the nominees for the president for Democrats, Republicans 2028? Could AOC be the Democratic nominee and win 2028? Great question. I do not think AOC will run for president in 2028, nor do I think she'll win. I think neither of those things are true. I think my gut says AOC will run for Senate, and I think she will easily win. That is my prediction. AOC will run for Senate in 2028 or 2026 even. I don't know. Is there a 2026? I'm not sure there's 20. No, there isn't. It's 2028 is the next one. I think 2020 is I think that's right. She'll run for Senate the next time. I think it's 2028. And I think she will win easily. That is my gut. I do not think she'll run for president. If anything, she may be a potential VP pick. If someone is looking to who wins, who's going to win a nominee, they may pick her for the VP slot. Maybe. I don't see her being the presidential nominee or even running for it. I mean, maybe she could run just to get known in the primary, perhaps like a Tulsi did, but I don't think so. That's my gut. Who could be? At the moment, I think the front runner is still Newsom. Doesn't mean he'll do it, but I think he's the front runner. Newsom is the front runner right now. My gut says it will be, regardless, it will be a Democratic governor, no matter what. If it's not Pritzker, but probably not Pritzker. He doesn't have charisma. Polis maybe out of Colorado, could be that. Could be the Maryland governor. So I think it will be a Democratic governor. I think that will be the person who will be the nominee for Democrats in 2028. They need an executive to fight whoever. They need a fighter. And one of the best fighters, love him or not, is Newsom. Newsom's not afraid to scrap. He'll go on Fox News. He will scrap. So I think he's the front runner. But I think it will be any of the governors. Vivek goes on to ask about Stephen A. Smith. I do think Stephen A. Smith may get in it. And I hope he does. I think he's interesting and fun. And I think he will make the primary a great primary. Do I think he can win this time? Maybe, but I think there's only one way I think Stephen Smith will win. Only one way is if the Democratic governors make really bad mistakes, or it's a Trump thing where there's so many Democratic governors that they suck up the establishment vote and they split it evenly, and all the non-establishment vote rushes to Stephen A. Smith. That will be the only way it could work. At the moment, I don't see that, but that will be the way it could work in theory. If there were, I don't know, 6 Democratic governors who ran in a primary, and each of them took up the small percentage, and then all of the anti-establishment guys ran to Stephen A. Smith, then maybe. But the problem is he's not left enough. He's much more of a mainstreamer. So I don't see that happen. He'd have to all of a sudden be like Medicare for all or something. He'd have to, free buses for the world. If he did something like that, maybe you could see the further left group of the Democratic Party move there, and then the rest gets split up. That's about it. Republicans, no chance for Massey Paul to be Republican nominee in 2028. 0 chance. I wish it was a Paul Massey or Massey Paul ticket. I wish that were the case. 0 chance. But I would love it. I'm with you. I wish that would happen. Never going to happen. Odds are it will be whoever Trump kind of says is the person. If Trump doesn't specifically say, the guy you should pick is this person, I think it's Vance. Vance is the natural. He's the natural heir apparent So unless Trump literally says, hey, pick this guy, some other guy, if he says that, like he goes, pick Vivek or whatever. If he does, then that's different. But unless Trump literally says somebody else, I think Vance is the obvious one. So there we go. Mike's on my side. He says it'll be Newsom. Candace will include AOC, Pritzker, Shapiro. I don't think it's AOC. I don't think she's in. I don't think she's going to run. So I think we'll see. But I don't see her coming in. You're right. Booker will also be in too, but he won't win. A senator won't win, but I think you're right. He's in. Yep. There we go. Mike also says Larry DeBone, Adam Moreno tonight. I was on his show too. Yes, I was on both. So if you guys can watch both of those, Adam C. Moreno's show, I was there, and also Kim Iverson. Thank you for that. I enjoyed both of them. So yes, and Phil says it too. I was on both. There we go. So I appreciate that. Michael's going to say when Lawler confronted Jeffries, it was bad for Jeffries. Republicans were invited and Lawler was insulted for accepting the invite. Plus, now Jeffries on consequence, he was not ready to answer. Yeah, but you're always going to say that, Mike. You're always going to say the Republican won. So you're too biased. My point is I don't really care who won. My point is, again, they're yelling at each other, right? They're always yelling at each other. And it'd be nice if they could get some, something done instead. Lunatic in the house. $5. Thank you. This is all grandstanding. True. We're headed for destruction. True. People are programmed for self-destruction. Ooh. What do you mean by that? People are programmed for self-destruction. Can we stop participating? Hope, pray, lock and load. Do you mean that people are naturally programmed for self-destruction? I don't think that's true. Or are you saying that our society is now programming people for self-destruction? I think that's true. But the worst part is we're programming for a slow, drawn-out self-destruction, lunatic. Meaning we're programmed to be alone, ignore our communities, rely on government. That's not even like short-term and it's over self-destruction. That's long-term pain, draw-out destruction. That's what we're actually programmed for. And then that's been happening for a long time. It's been happening for decades. Now it's more and more, right? If I was talking to somebody recently, maybe it was Kim. I think it was. She was talking about, it was on her show. Yes. Talking about how when you add government to control everything, people stop caring about each other because they just rely upon government. So it becomes, why bother helping? It's a part in A Christmas Carol, the classic, where Scrooge is talking about some poor person on the street, and they're like, sir, will you give me some help? And he's like, don't I pay taxes to take care of you? Don't I pay taxes so the government can take care of you? And that's from what, 100 years ago, or whenever that was written? Maybe more now, right? Maybe longer. But yeah, anyway, 150 years, whatever it is ago when that was written. So even back then, they were like, see, government takes care of it. So yeah, I hope you don't mean naturally. I hope you mean that we are as a society now programmed. That's true. Can we stop participating? Yes, when there are other structures. People do need help. People do fall down. People get unlucky. People make mistakes, all those things. And why do you think I spend so much time talking about community? Because if you have better families, better communities, then you can stop participating. Lunatic, yes, you can. If you don't have that, how are you going to stop participating when you're a single person who moved into a city because that was the only chance you thought for opportunity? You don't have any real friends. You just have people who are also stuck here. Your family is in another state. If you're even close to them at all, you call them maybe once a week, if that. Your friends are basically your work friends, if that. And once you get laid up, they don't care about you. How are you going to stop participating? You'll literally just starve. You'll fall back on the government, in which case you can't stop participating. You need community and family to do so. So yes, with community and family. That's what I'll say. So, all right. Let me see here. Let's see here. Liberty Lady says, I'm going to have to go back and listen to the Adam Moreno segment tomorrow. Was surprised with some of the Kim Iverson chat. For whatever reason, people think Larry's a Zionist and against the wall. Don't they always think that? My exact point. My exact point. The assumption is bad faith. They didn't say, hey, do you know anything about this Larry Sharpe guy? Or do you know if he... Nope. The assumption is bad guy. Kiss the wall. Well, that's their bad thing. Terrible, immediately assumption of badness. That's what I mean by disrespect. That is the norm. The norm is exactly that. The norm is bad guy. That's how it works immediately. So, yeah, they assume that also. If any of you are listening, if any of the people from the Kim show are watching or listening now, I follow the Mamdani model. Yes, you'll be upset about that, right? No. Mamdani was right on one thing. He was absolutely right. For those of you who remember what Mamdani did, and I will always give credit where credit is due. I'm obviously not a big Mamdani fan. However, no doubt this is where he was right. When they asked, what foreign country are you going to go to? When are you going to go to Israel? When they asked that question during the debate, he said, I'm not. I care about New York City. If I need to talk to Jews in New York City, there's tons of Jews in New York City. I'll talk to them here in New York City. Why do I have to travel? I care about New York. Yes. In that one, Mamdani is correct. I won't be able to kiss the wall because I'm not going over there. I don't care. I'm not mad at Israel. Do you? I don't care. Not my issue. When I run for president, I'll have to go over there and you got to kiss the wall. Whatever. I don't know. Just got to do whatever. Maybe I have to. Do I? Is that how it works? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not kissing walls. I'm not going to Israel. I'm not a Zionist. I don't care about any of that crap. I care about fixing New York State. That's what I care about. There's tons of Jews here in New York State, tons in my city I live in, tons of them my friends. I'll talk to them. And maybe they can go kiss the wall if they want to. Is that a thing? They'll go kiss the wall. Anyway, so I hope that answered your question at least. So yes. All righty. Sunday Libertarian says they're working on cell targeting technology to cure allergies now. It's pretty cool. I could use it. Maybe I get one of those. There we go. I need one of those too. So Kim says disrespect is a direct response to banning spankings and schools handing out 1-800 child abuse numbers in the mid-70s. Ooh. So you think the idea started with children not being physically disciplined? Let me go around that one, Kim. Let me dance around that a little bit. And what I'll say is it was much more of the idea that I think of kids being raised in an environment that was kid-centered. You might go, Larry, that's what all families are. No, and they shouldn't be. For literally millennia, families were not child-centered and should not be child-centered. I know it's very controversial. People go, oh, my child's everything. Terrible idea. You should not raise your family child-centered. I don't do it child-centered. I don't know. I raised both my daughters, not child-centered. It is the family-centered. And the children will sometimes have to sacrifice, just like the parents will sometimes. And the children have to work like the parents will work. It's a family group. So you're a family. If you center everything on the children become spoiled. They start thinking they deserve everything. They start thinking they're always the smartest. They're the most wonderful. They're always so great. And I hear this all the time. This started, by the way, Kim, the idea of pumping up kids' self-esteem did not come from a negative thing. It came from a positive world, trying to realize that if kids have higher self-esteem, they'll work better, blah, 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 all those things. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just was executed horribly. People gain self-esteem not because I tell you you're awesome because you were born. People gain self-esteem because I say I'm proud of you because you achieved something. I don't just tell my daughters they're great. I don't. And you may go, Larry, you're a bad dad. No, I tell my daughters they're great when they do something great. Then I say, that's well done. You did. You should be proud of yourself. Did that thing. Yes. They just born. 8 billion people were born. Why are you proud of that? They exist. 8 billion people exist. So you ain't great because of that. You're great because you did something, whatever that thing is. Doesn't matter. So I would add that piece. And again, the intention was a good intention, Kim. They were trying to make things better, but it utterly backfired. And that's why you get things like participation trophies and garbage like that, where everyone has to be affirmed, which is terrible and garbage. It doesn't work. So, yeah. Let me head over to Instagram. Instagram, I have, it's Ammo Sucks. Sounds odd. Any way to get the senators and tell them to approve for us military guys to get paid. I believe that they will always pay the military. I think they will. I don't think they will not pay the military. I don't see that because and not because they care about you. They don't. That is not the reason. Please, I'm not trying to say they care about you. They do not. But It is a political nightmare if they don't pay troops. They would never do that. This is a true story. I remember this. Two things they do for troops. They will always do. Pay them and feed them. Always. Treat them like garbage every other way, but they'll pay them and feed them. You must pay them. You must feed them. Those two things. If you don't do that, it's a problem. I was taught that as a sergeant in the Marine Corps. You got to make sure they get paid. You got to make sure they eat. The rest, who cares? But as long as this is done, you are good. I remember years ago, this is probably 30, 40 years ago now. I'm sorry, no, 10, 20 years ago. When I was in the Marine Corps. And one guy hadn't gotten paid for like, I don't know, 4 weeks or whatever. I forgot what it was. It was a long time. It's been years. I'm gonna say 3 months. I don't remember what it was. I'm making that up because I don't remember. So 3 months he wasn't paid. Again, totally made up. But he wasn't paid. That's true. The amount I don't remember. So we're out in the field, and like the general comes by, right? The general comes by, and he's inspecting, looking around, whatever. And we had it was a captain? No, lieutenant colonel. Lieutenant colonel was running our battalion, and he's there. And was it the captain? I think lieutenant colonel. And the general comes by asking him, "How are you? How are you?" And the general goes to the one guy who hasn't been paid in like 3 months and goes, "So, Marine, how are you?" And you just watch him be like, "No, don't say it." And he said, "Sir, I'm not doing well." He's like, "What's wrong, Marine?" "I haven't been paid in 3 months." And you just watch all the officers literally start taking steps back, just backing up. And he was like, "What? You've been paid 3 months?" "Yes, sir. I've not been paid 3 months." And he looks over at Lieutenant Colonel and he's like, "Is that true?" And Lieutenant Colonel's like, "Well, see, The general said publicly, he said to Lieutenant Colonel, "You are this Marine's personal finance officer as of now." He literally dressed down Lieutenant Colonel in front of everybody in the field. Said, "You are his personal financial officer right now. You will make sure he gets paid next pay period, every single part." I just lit him up out of nowhere. Why? Got to pay him. You can scold them. You can yell at them, throw them off a bridge. Totally fine. But they better be paid when they fall off that bridge. You can get them shot. You can get them killed. PTSD them all day long. Give them TBI. Totally fine. But they better be fed and paid when they're in a field hospital with TBI. Then it's fine. So I would not be worried about you getting paid, my friend. I think you will get paid. I do. I think you'll get paid. I cannot imagine you're not getting paid. So anyway, hope that's true. Jay says, "We'll vote for you again." Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. And Amazon goes on to say, "I retired from the Air Force and I'll put signs in everyone's yards in Chautauqua County." Thank you, my friend. I was just in Chautauqua County. I will be back there in a couple of months. I do appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. I appreciate that. Jay also goes on to say, "Yes, it's definitely a Trump thing." Yeah, it is. Yeah. But anyway, I wouldn't be concerned. You'll get paid. That's an interesting story. I thought you guys would enjoy that story. Some funny stories from back in the day. All right, let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Scientific Libertarian says, "I had a lady yell at me at a county fair when I ran for state senate." Yep. "It was more entertaining than anything. It's more the money and time required holding me back at the moment." That part isn't as bad for me. I raise a lot of money, as you guys know. I raise $500,000 every time I run. I'll raise probably over $1 million this time when I run. So I'm not concerned about that piece. But I'm very active, as you probably know. When I run, I'm doing a lot of shows. I'm online often. I physically go out and meet people all the time. I'm out shaking hands. It's a lot of disrespect. And I push forward in front of lots of people and I talk about stuff. So yeah, I think that's critical. For me, at least. So yes. Rick says, "So much live for us today." Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. By the way, I think I'm going to be on an X space at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. So I may be on that too. So yeah. Massimanawa says, "Make America tall again." See, then we wouldn't have to worry about it. She'd find some other reason. I don't know, call him bald or something, whatever. It's all shaming. That's all that was. So yes. D says, "I follow Adam C. Moreno on his YouTube. That guy seems legit as a podcaster." I would agree. Yes, I would agree. 100%. So, all righty. Rick says, "Fundraiser theater." True. Very true. Definitely fundraiser theater. That's what it was. Yes. Phil says, "My wife and I decided to cut back on smoking and only smoke when we made love. I still have the same pack from 5 years ago. She's up to 3 packs a day. I can't get no respect." That's cute. She's 3 packs a day. I like that. Yes. Well, she's staying busy. Good for, I think, maybe. I'm not sure. The scientific libertarian, for disrespect to be the norm, it would have to be a large part of the population, not just a small group of loud people. Well, that's a good question. Is it? Right? Are we more? I mean, here's the problem. How do you judge what's real by looking at social media? Is the social media trend just the trend of the people who want to get clicks and that's why they're doing crazy, disrespectful stuff? Or is it following the norm of our culture and we're getting disrespectful in general? And that's why that's it. Is that the issue? I'm not sure. So, I mean, maybe. Joe says, hey, Joe, AMA question. Will the ballot access line efforts be focused on LP or working family? Oh, I'm sorry, working family. Let me go on. We the People Party. Most of my fundraising will move more towards LP. We the People has a much larger group of people and a much larger donor base. So I won't need to assist them that much. But we're very lucky, Joe, in that we have the command has a good campaign manager who actually has run ballot access for the RFK people and got on 24 states. So he's already made sure that happens. So I have no problem. We're going to make both of them. We'll probably have to raise, I'm guessing, probably $250,000 for Libertarian Party is my guess. We have a more motivated group than we've had in a long time. And we have and we also have a better plan. We're starting early, right? We're starting now. So I think the bigger chunk will probably be on LP. Remember, We the People Party, they were able to get 145,000 signatures for RFK Jr. last year. And most of that was through volunteers. The highest percentage of good signatures was through volunteers, not through paid. So I think they will have much easier time doing it than the LP will. So hope that answers your question. All righty. Let's see here. Bronna says, I was late again, had to call mom to wish her happy birthday. Nice to see you. That's good. Yes. I'm glad. Tell your mom happy birthday. That's great. I'm glad. I love that. So, all righty. Where were they? Lunatic says they are wasting time. Yes, but they're raising money. Yes, but they're raising money. And in their eyes, that's the reason to do stuff. Like, Lunatic, they're not trying to fix anything. They're not trying to get anything done. They're just trying to raise money. So for us, me and you, they're wasting time. For them, they're doing their job. Like, that's what they do. That's like saying, well, that guy who's, digging holes is wasting time digging holes. He gets paid to dig holes. So he digs holes. They get paid when they fundraise. So they fundraise. That's what their job is. So for us, yes. For them, no, that's what they're supposed to do. Evelyn says, it all is unprofessional diversion for that divides us, no respect. And Evelyn, here's the piece that makes it worse. We spend so much time yelling at each other, the good or evil one, right? That we forget the actual issues. We don't care about the actual thing that matters, right? We start forgetting about the EpiPen files, the e-files, as they would say, right? We forget about those, right? Or we forget about that we're fighting wars overseas, or we forget about the fact that, healthcare is probably going to go up in the next couple of months. Right? We forget about all those things. We just start yelling, other guy bad. So this goes into, believe it or not, a war footing. What do I mean by that? If you remember in the book and the movie 1984, the nation Oceania is always at war. That's the goal. It's always at war. The goal of the war is not to be won. The goal of the war is to continue. Why? Because the more you're at war, the more your population will accept. We found this out by bombing. So bombing never works to end a war, right? I mean, you can keep bombing, but bombing doesn't end the war. Other things end the war, right? And even go, well, happened World War II. Like it's not true. The reason why the Japanese had to surrender wasn't because of the bombs we dropped. We dropped 2 of them, and they didn't drop the first one. They did it because the Russians invaded. That's why the Japanese actually surrendered. They were trying to broker a peace with the Russians because FDR wouldn't talk to them because of unconditional surrender. So they're trying to broker a peace to the Russians. The Russians said, oh, you're in that much trouble? Then the Russians invaded. Manchukuo, which is Manchuria, and then North Korea. That's why we have North and South Korea because of that. That's why they surrendered. So bombing doesn't actually work to surrender. Now, bombing is effective in harming your community, in slowing down their front lines, in in strategically attacking and crushing your enemy. It does. It absolutely helps to get a surrender. But bombing by itself does not get a surrender. You must also have troops on the ground or invasion or something else. Just bombing actually strengthens the resolve of the people being bombed. That's actually true, demonstrably true. So what we have now in America is we just keep bombing each other. And so we'll put up with more and more. I'll put up with, I can't pay my rent as long as I'm getting Trump. Or I'll put up with not being able to buy a car as long as I'm showing the libs, right? So I will put up with it while the wealthy, for those of you that haven't seen the data, the top 10% are responsible for 50% of our consumer economy. The top people are spending all the money. And the rest of us are like, can I please pay my rent, sir? Yeah. So I agree. It just keeps dividing us, making us hate the other. This is why I've always said for the past 8 years now, more, since 2012. So what now? It's 13 years, 8 years, 13 years now. I've been saying the answer is a third party. Third party breaks the evil us versus them. You have a real third party, things begin to change. It's how it works. You start to have coalitions. You see it in other countries where they have coalitions. They start having coalitions. So yes. So anyway, all right, let me keep going. All right, Dave's got 2 of them. All right. Dave says, just tuning in, disrespect is becoming more of the norm. The F word was considered an R-rated word. That's when we were accepted. I know I drop F-bombs myself. Larry, when our side does it, it's acceptable. When the other side does it, it's an insult. Yes, and here's the reason. Here's the reason, Dave. Because the other side is evil. Our side is good. So whatever we do, it's stopping evil. So therefore, it's okay. And sadly, we're even accepting that when it comes to authoritarianism. So is it okay to do horrible authoritarian things? Well, is my side doing it? Oh, my side's doing it? Totally fine. Your side's doing it? It's evil. You're fascist. Of course. Yes. Absolutely. Yep. All righty. Let's see here. If I keep going down here. John says, let's face it, for a long time, conservatives have been attacked by liberals and never fired back until President Trump showed them they could do it. Call out the first foul. Return fire won't be needed. I'm not sure that's true. I remember Reagan was a proud conservative / libertarian-ish. I mean, depends upon what he was saying and how he was acting. He had some of that. I think he was proud to be that. I think he attacked liberals often. I don't think that. I mean, Nixon did it, but nowhere near to the strength that Reagan did. Nixon did it too. He also attacked liberals, but he was nowhere near as effective as Reagan was. Reagan was very effective at attacking liberals. I think he did. Reagan brought a lot of working class. Nixon began it, but Reagan really made a lot of working class Americans move towards the right by attacking liberals. I think it started back then, to be forward with you. There was a short time, though, when that was true. And that was basically during the Obama up until before Trump. Like that era was, conservative was bad. All the liberals were right and just. I think the media kind of jumped into that thing too. And then Trump just said, I don't care. And I think that's it. You see, call it the first file, return fire won't be. I think it will be. They're still fighting. I think they're still fighting. You just saw it. AOC is still fighting. AOC is still fighting. I don't think that's changed at all. Yeah. All right. So I'm sorry. I'm having a runny nose. I'm not sure if it's allergies or I've lost my thing. I apologize. So, all right. BCM 010 says third party is stupid. That is insanely dumb to say something like that. How do you know which third party is it? Are some third parties stupid? Yeah, some are. But that's because the party itself is dumb, not because the idea of a third party. Third party is the only way to fix things. And I know what people will think. The reason why someone will say that is because we can't have a third party because then the other guys will win. They've been lying to you about that for decades. And here's my proof. Over the past 25 years, Democrats at one point have controlled the House, the Senate, the courts, and the presidency. It's true. At the same time and separately, Republicans over the past 25 years have controlled the House, the Senate, the presidency, and the courts together all at the same time and separately for the past 25 years. Yeah. Are the people on the right happy? No. People on the left happy? No. Why didn't they fix all the things? They didn't. Because they won't. Because why would they? So are the third party stupid? Or the people who keep thinking their side is going to change things stupid? You want third party coalitions to focus on one item, get one thing done? Requires third parties. You want people to talk about actual issues? Requires third parties. Larry, how can you say that? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you examples of this. I'm just going to make this up, give you actual examples. An example is RFK Jr. last year. RFK Jr. last year ran independent. And Trump was like, I want those 3 million votes. That'll give me a mandate. He was correct. Okay, what am I going to do? I gotta care about medicine and food, but I'm Trump. I don't care about medicine and food. Yeah, but I'm RFK Jr. and I care about medicine and food. Oh, okay. So I have to care about medicine and food to get 3 million votes? Yes. So Trump said, okay, done. Maha. Move on. Maha happened because of that. So third party stupid, third party smart. So anyway. All righty. Scientific Libertarian says, I don't feel a whole lot of feelings anymore, Larry. That's sad, man. I don't like that. I would like you to feel lots of feelings. Lots of them, good and bad. And you might go, bad? Yeah. I want you to feel good and bad. I want you to have the full range of emotions that humans have, strong on both of them. When you feel bad and stuff is terrible, then you feel better when things feel good. The thing that I always talk about is what got me through some of my toughest times is understanding that everything is temporary. Everything. If everything is temporary, that means when you have pain, the pain will go away. It's temporary. When you have joy, and take that joy and enjoy it, it's going to go away too. Everything goes away. Everything is temporary. So I hope you can get all of those. Yes. So Kinsugi says, I'm on nobody's side because nobody's on my side. Aw, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. There we go. So BCM comes back and says, nope, watered down coalition. Look at Europe, dysfunctional. Okay. Europe is not America. I'm not asking for a parliamentary system. I'm not asking for that. They're all parliamentary systems. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for an actual third party here in America. And if you look at states that don't have that, there is a thing that happens. What is that? One party rule. You see it in Nebraska. You see it in Utah. You see it in California. You see it in New York. So as they get rid of third parties, what they're really getting rid of is all parties. That's what actually happens. You don't have a watered down coalition. What you have is one party. In Nebraska right now, in Utah, they don't even bother running statewide candidates if it's Democrats. You can't win. Don't bother. It's a one-party state now. Here in New York, one-party state. Republicans haven't won an election in 23 years. I mean, a statewide election, right? AG, Senate, governor, 23 years. Where I live right now, the Republicans don't even bother running candidates anymore. Bondi wins. Bondi is my assemblyman. He wins 99-1. 99% to 1. Kim Jong-un over in North Korea is like, damn, you get better numbers than me. It's true. Stalin would come up and roll in his grave. Wish I got numbers like that. Yep, 9-1. So your nope, watered down coalition equals one party system. What you're talking about, BCM, is some theory that makes you feel good. And I get it. People, you're common. I'm the oddball. Most people think like you. I get it. You're just all wrong. The data is in. The data is in. You can see what's happening right now. When you begin to have multiple parties running around, you get change. I just gave you an example of change. Last year. That's not a watered down coalition. The coalition that Trump put together last year, again, whether you like Trump or not, whether you like it or not, he put together the Elon Musk, the Tulsi Gabbard, the RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is still independent or libertarian, depends how you look at that. Tulsi Gabbard became a Republican, but she was Democrat. Elon Musk, I'm not sure if he's actually Republican or not. I'm not sure what he is, but they put them all together. Because of that coalition got him a mandate. He would not have won a popular vote. Or beaten Harris in the popular. He wouldn't have beaten Harris in the popular vote if he didn't have the RFK Jr. people on his side. And some libertarians, sadly, a lot of libertarians voted for Trump last time. Sure, a lot did. So we got those two. So that coalition was not watered down. That coalition got him a mandate so he can move things forward. So again, everything you're saying is just demonstrably not true. I'm showing you just recently data, demonstrably not true. So lunatic back in action. $5. The smoke/mirrors are breaking. This is true. You bring a very valid point. I think there are more people now who are open to a message that you and I are talking about than ever. I think they're more open. A lot of them aren't there yet. You can see the gentleman BCM. He's like totally against what I'm talking about. And I get it. He's the more common. I'm the oddball here. Lunatic, you know you the oddball. You know you the oddball. You more odd than me. Right? And I'm the oddball. BCM is the norm. Most people think like he does. I'm not mad at him. It's the way it is. And I think, but it is breaking. People are starting to go, wait a minute. Wait, we're getting a lot of that. How do I know that? Right? Again, I'm not just saying things. How do I know that? You're seeing the largest group of people now becoming independent voters that we've seen ever. Independent voters now are the biggest chunk in America right now. And also they're the second biggest chunk now in New York. In New York State, there's more independents than our Republicans. So I think there's some data to show you're correct. It is happening. It's still slow. It's still slow. The history is fake. Food, science, info, TV, etc. Liberation comes only one way. You know which way I reference. I know you keep referencing that. I'm trying to avoid that. I know. I'm trying to avoid that way. I'm trying to make it the other way so we don't got to go your way. I'm not saying we don't have to go your way. I'm saying I don't want to go your way. I would rather go another way that does not require long-range hole punchers. That's what I'm saying. I would like that. Yes. So anyway, but again, people are being more independent. They're thinking differently. They don't automatically believe what people say. They don't automatically believe that. So, that part of disrespect, I think is healthy. That part of, well, because government said it. So, because, this authority said it. So I think that part's good. So yeah. Super weapons. Oh man, he's with you, lunatic. He's with you. You guys. All right, fine. Thank you, Super Weapons, for $5. Hey, Larry, just waiting for the boog. I'm not going to say the full word because I might get canceled. For those you don't know, the boo, Lou is when the CW2 starts. The U.S. is getting nuttier by the day, but there's hope. I hope there's hope. That's my point. I don't want you and Lunatic to be right. I want you guys to be wrong. That's the whole point. Yes. So if you guys, I'm also on YouTube, so I can't say certain words, or YouTube will just cancel me or demonetize me. I like to not be if that's possible. So that's why I have to talk baby talk when I'm saying these words. We can't be adults. YouTube won't let you be an adult. So yes. BCM goes on to say, can't fix stupid. Why do you think New York would change their vote distinctly with third party? Okay, two things. One, most of the people who vote are not stupid. Just because they don't vote your way doesn't make them stupid, right? You look at, I know lots of people who don't vote the way I tell them to vote, and they're not dumb. They just believe things differently. And the example I'll give you, and this is my favorite one, I use it often. And it is, excuse me, and it is, just lost train of thought. Oh, Thomas Sowell. Thank you. It's Thomas Sowell. It is Thomas Sowell Thomas Sowell used to be a Marxist. And I go, Marxist? No, with what information he had at the time and with the experiences that he had at the time, he knew things weren't working. He thought Marxism was the right answer. Does that make him stupid? No, if you think that, you're stupid. He is brilliant. He is one of the smartest libertarians, the best libertarian thinking minds we have in this country today. One of the best, top 10 for sure, maybe top 5. He's brilliant. Now, he changed his mind. Why? Because he had different experiences and different education. He actually met Milton Friedman. He met Milton Friedman, right? And he started to work for the government. And he realized, none of this works. Oh my God, this is terrible. And he became a libertarian. Yes. So you can fix people's outlook. Of course you can. More experiences and more education. People do what they believe is right. They're not stupid. That's just you giving up, right? And it's common. So yes, you can change people, number one, and they aren't all stupid, number two. That's something you make up because you don't think the way I think, so you're stupid. That's not helpful. That's more disrespect. And the second thing is, why would I think New York would change the vote with third party? I'll tell you why. Because when I ran in 2018, Republicans did a whole bunch of internal polling that they didn't show people because it's internal polling. After the election was over, some of them shared it with me. Over 25% of the people who voted for me were registered Democrats. So Democrats will vote for me. Why? Democrats don't want to vote for Republicans, just like Republicans don't want to vote for Democrats, but both will vote for independents. We see it everywhere. Look at RFK Jr. Most of his votes initially were all former Democrats. At the end, many of them were Republicans. So yes, the evidence is there. You think I'm just saying shit. That's what you think. No, I'm going based upon historical things that have already happened, data that I already have. I'm not just going, you know what, I think this. And sometimes I do, but if I do, I just say, I just think this. And you can go, Larry, I'm glad you think that, but there's no evidence. I'm giving evidence. You are incorrect, my friend. I'm glad you're here, by the way. Please stay here. So, all right. Hope that was helpful in answering your questions. So, all righty. Let me walk down some of these here. All righty. Kasir's here. Always the people what they want to hear, then blaming the party. Basic trick 101. True. Two wings, the same bird. Kasir is correct. Yes. And Annalisa Medina says, I dislike Trump. I think a lot of people dislike Trump, but some will still vote for him. And I think there was a difference in 2020 versus 2024. In 2020, I think a lot, this is my personal opinion. This is not data. So BCM, you get mad at me for this one. This is just my personal experience that I had, my lived experience. See, now you can't get mad at me because I used the phrase lived experience. Now you have to respect it now because that's the rules, I guess. Anyway, so what many people in New York were like, I don't like his tweets. I hate them mean tweets. Someone should take his phone away. A lot of people were thinking that in 2020. In 2024, those same people were like, I don't care about tweets. I don't care. I'm voting Trump. I don't care. So I think a lot of people don't like Trump, but a lot of people still voted for him anyway because they hated the alternative so much. So they were like, lesser of two evils. I'll take Trump even though I don't like him. This is why I think you see in his polling, Trump's polling now among Republicans is still good. They're still fine. But among independents, he's starting to lose. It's to your point, people who didn't like him and were like, well, now I don't want to vote for him anymore because I never liked him, but I voted for him anyway. I think there's a lot of that. So, all right. She goes on to say, I dislike the hate he spews. I think a lot of people felt that. They hated him, particularly on social media. Yes. I think you're not alone. You're not alone. So, all righty. Because he goes on to say, what people believe doesn't make them dumb. Yes. See? BCM, some people on my side. Makes me correct. Done deal. So, all righty. Let's see. Brona says, Trump was always establishment. The reality of it, it doesn't matter. Right? Because what he did very well was what Trump has done better than, I can't think anyone who's done it better than him. Maybe FDR did it pretty well. Maybe. What Trump did was get the average American to think that a born wealthy billionaire was just like them or cared about them. I'm not sure if that's more of it's two things. He's good at that. Excuse me. He's a marketer. That is his skill. He's good at it. Again, give him credit where credit's due. He's good at that. And I think he learned that. This is my gut. I think he learned that skill when he was young working with construction crews. I'm not joking. I think he learned it doing that. He spent so much time talking to regular guys on construction crews that he was able to mimic their language, their feelings, understand what they're thinking about, how they want to hear stuff, what they care about. Because he did that early on when he was younger. His dad made him work with the working crew so he could be around them and understand them. I think he learned it then when he was a young man, probably teenager, early 20s, and he kept that all the way through. I think that's where he learned it. With that, you have someone like Hillary Clinton, who was just so established. She's the poster child for establishment. Yeah, I think that's the issue. It doesn't. Politics, for most people, is about just image. So, yeah. Kinsugi, how are you, my dear? How can someone out of state support you? Okay. You guys know if you want to support me, this is for my governor run. It's a separate issue, not this issue, separate issue. Head over to LarrySharpe.com. You can still donate. Anyone can donate. If you got cash, give me some cash. If you got some, that's awesome. You can do that if you want to. Up to you. Donate button. You can also volunteer. Doesn't matter. You can volunteer. Jump on the volunteer button. We have a volunteer call. There'll be one tonight at 9. If you want to come to the volunteer call, come on. And we will need help. We need help all over the place. You don't have to even come to New York. Doesn't matter. We can use help online. Yes, we need people to be doing things online all day, all night. So if you want to help, you can simply join and become a volunteer. Volunteer or give money if you want to. If you live in New York State and you give, your money will be matched 6 to 1. If you live outside of New York State, your money will just be done. Give me your money. Love to have it. If you got more money than time, give me money. More time than money, give me time. Whatever you got more of. All are important. Hope that helps. And last piece I'll bring up, which you just see here. Like every single post you see from me. Share every single post you see from me. It really does matter. Every like, every share does count because of the rhythm. Algo rhythm. Yes, absolutely. So whatever you can share, please do so. It does matter. We've been talking about respect and running for office. Another guy who ran for office, a guy named Spike Cohen. He very often talks about respect. So where has he spoken about respect? I think you know where. Yeah, you do. You do. It's civil. You know it was going to be civil, didn't you? I mean, you know, of course. Yes. He was actually on civil last year talking about respect with Matt Kibbe. And here is a piece of that here on civil.
Line for you, but what was the inspiration for the story that you told?
Yeah, so I've been for a while now trying to figure out how can we encapsulate our ideas into something that intrinsically makes sense to even a 7 or 8 year old. You know, how can we take the idea, the not just the ethic behind libertarianism, but the consequence of it, like how it makes our lives better, the inherent solution behind it, into something that basically everyone already agrees with. And I came across it when I started looking at a lot of what the advocates for self-government were doing.
There we go. You often hear me speak about the advocates for self-government. Oh, yes, indeed. Huh. Crossover. Yes, crossover. Guys, I want you to, when you can, check out CiVL. CiVL. Every single show, I'll show you something cool that's on CiVL. There's so much cool stuff on CiVL. Head on over there, CiVL.com. Put in the code Larry when you sign up, LARRY, which is the coolest name on the internet. Do that and you get 50% off for the entire year. Yes, the entire year is $25 for the year, not $25 per month, $25 for the entire year. That is a steal. You are robbing them. You are breaking the law, you're a bad person. Breaking the law, but do it anyway. Do it. Right? Do it. Get $25 for the entire year. There's cool stuff on CiVL all the time. And there are 6 episodes or 7 episodes that are just of the Sharpe Way Solutions, which is the We Fix It Wednesday, just on CiVL, no place else. So CiVL.com. This is where you have real conversations, talking about real stuff without disrespect. Just a back and forth conversation without the conflict machine. CiVL.com. Larry is the code. Thanks, guys. They support it. I support them. They support me. Life is good. I do love it. Yes. All righty. Let me grab some more super weapons. Again, $5. Have you thought about doing an episode or event, the 10th Amendment Center, for your next run? I haven't. I guess I could. Happy to do it. I should reach out to him. I mean, I don't have any problem with it. I think it's not a bad idea. I like the concept of doing it. I don't know if they would want to do it, but yeah, happy to. Yeah, happy to. All good. Decentralization does matter. Yes. So, all righty. Let me grab here again. There are so many of these. I want to grab some more of these if I can. Many people are popping up here, and I want to grab some new people if I can. So, all righty. Whoops. What happened? What did I miss? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Shelly says, Jimmy Durante played the Pearling Palace. There's been a roller rink for 80 years. I'm not sure where that was from. I'm not sure that was me. Mass Manau says, please take Polis. We don't need him. Well, there we go. See, he might come. He might come. Sign of Mid-Libertarian says, wouldn't mind Jared Polis from about 2 years ago. There we go. Yep. Rick says, Slick Willie 2.0 Newsom. Yep. Yes. He is. He's got nice hair too, so he kind of is slick. It's true. So Mike says, Stephen A. Smith is a joke. He has zero chance. He'll be slightly less embarrassed than Oprah's run. I disagree. I think he's very talented. I think he'll make, if he actually runs, I don't think he can win, but I think he'll make the primary very interesting. I think he'll make a great one. Absolutely. So yes. Danny, my dear, how are you? Just got back to my keyboard. Lull. Great news. Grateful you decided to run again, Larry. Danny, help us out our last campaign. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're back in action too. Good to see you here. Yes. So, all righty. MP says, teach all schoolhouse boys boxing, etiquette, and their Catholic catechism for a more balanced society. I am not in any way against parochial schools, religious schools. My daughter goes to the Greek school here in Astoria, so I'm not against it at all. I think you should, and I'm not even against all boy or all girl schools. I think you should be able to educate your child as you see fit. If you think your boy or girl should go to a one gender school, fine. If you think not, okay too. If you like public school, okay. I think, yeah, I'm okay with all those things. The thing that we found though, which is true, I've seen this, people being upset, teachers, administrators, in general, women, because most of the education is run by women. So most of these are women who don't like, to your point, teaching boys things like boxing, wrestling, and trying to stop them, pull them out at Sharpe. These things are all bad. They're all toxic. I've seen a lot of that. And I think you're correct. It's totally wrong. Teach your kid what you think is appropriate. If you want to teach your kid to box, do so. I don't care if it's a boy or a girl. If you think that your boy should be masculine and learn boxing, go ahead. If you think your daughter should learn boxing so she can defend herself, go ahead. Whatever you think. So I'm okay with that. Absolutely. So, all right. MP goes on to say, Trump is a leftist. Oh, I like that. I think he'd be mad if he heard that. Fran says, I wish it were a Massey ticket in 2028. It will be hardcore Trump followers and will need his endorsement. I can't see Massey winning a Republican primary. That seems impossible to me. There would have to be such a change on in the Republican Party. I mean, I can't imagine. Look, obviously, I'm a Massey supporter. I wish he would. If he does, I'm in. I can't see it. It seems, yeah. I wish he'd run Libertarian, but I can't say that either. I mean, maybe, you know what? Maybe he would now. As a stick in the eye to Republicans, maybe. I mean, still the odds are slim to none, but they went from like 0% of him running Libertarian to like 0.00001% of him running as a Libertarian. So maybe he would, but I don't see it. So yeah, I don't know. So, let's see. MP, why are you attacking religion? Don't attack religion. That's mean. Don't do that. I'm not going to put your post up, but he's attacking Vance. Don't attack. You can attack Vance for many reasons, not for religion. It's not fair. Don't do that. So, all righty. Let me keep going down here. Kintsugi says MP Vance is literally Catholic. True. That's true. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. I went down here. People back to people are really about Mouse Utopia. That was funny. Yes. All right. Brana says the nominees for president will be selected, as always, by the CFR. Backed by, perhaps. Selected, I don't see that. I don't see it. I don't see it. So, I mean, maybe, but I don't see it. So, Fran says, people are programmed to destroy each other. The whole us versus them mentality. It divides and conquers. All right, yes and no. And let me be clear on this piece. There's been some data on this. Generally speaking, humans are not naturally supposed to be in groups larger than about 250. That's about the highest they can be. The sweet spot is like 125, like 150. That's why military companies are right there. A company in the military is about 120 people. Depending upon what, no matter what nation you go to, a company is around 120 people. Because, and that's been true since ancient Egypt. So we're talking like 5,000 years, whatever it is, 6,000 years, whatever time frame. Is that 6,000? I think 6,000 years, right? So talking like 5,000, 6,000 years, a company has been about 120 people. A Roman century was 100 people, right? Plus your leadership. So it equaled probably 110, 115 people when you add leadership in it, right? So that was a Roman century was that. So We're supposed to be there. And the data that some anthropologists have found that as long as you're under 250, humans don't require, in our own heads, a government. Not required. We can function as a village, clan, group without requiring a government. Once we get past around 250 or so in that area, we start all of a sudden thinking, someone's got to be in charge around here. All of a sudden, we start creating governments. And once we create governments, there's the us versus them. Tribe versus tribe, clan versus clan. Yes. So yeah, but the glory of humans is we can change that. We can change that with culture. We can change that with ideology. We can change that. That's the advantage that we have as humans. We can change that. But yeah, there's some programming there. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So, all right, Lunatic, thank you for $5. I need a 2-hour slot on my show. Systems and Governance Live. Okay, tell me when you come on my show. We'll do it. I'll come on your show. Done. You win. Tell me when. I'll come on. Yes. All right. Do me a favor, D, if you're watching, bug him and find out when we're going on. And let's go on. If you don't mind. We'll do it. So yes. Master Christopher Cows, 1843. Damn, that's almost 200 years. I said 150. It's 200. Well, yeah, I was off. So yeah, there we go. All right. MP says, never ever attempt to segregate private life from public life. I don't know what you mean by that. Never ever attempt to segregate private life from public life. I think lots of people do that. Is that a mistake you're saying? I'm not sure where you're going with that. I don't know where you're going with that one. So I don't know. I tend not to myself. I don't. I think people who meet me and see me, I'm the same either way. I don't think I am, but maybe. So, yes, I don't know. EDB ID says 100% family first community. Yes, that's the key. That's how we fix things. That's how we fix things. Andrea says, what can government do about a war in Israel? Nothing. People got mad at me for not talking about the war in Israel, right? I hardly ever talk about it. Why? And I told people this early on, and I was right early on. I read about the Ukraine war here or there, but hardly ever. Why? Nothing I do can change that. I can virtue signal, I guess, but so what? Doesn't do anything. America is going to back Israel no matter what I say and no matter what they do. Do you want me to virtue signal so you'll feel better? I won't kiss the wall. Okay. And they're still dying and the war hasn't changed. I've expressed the background on how it works and why it works that way so people see it. You want to change that? Okay. Break two-party system. Do that. Break two-party system. Break our current system. Stop allowing companies to donate. I've given my policy for that already. I've given policies to fix all of this. I've given policies to fix all of this. I can fix all of this with right policies. Can be done. But if there's no third parties, it will never happen. People don't vote for me, it'll never happen. It'll just me be talking stuff. So yeah. So a governor can't do anything about the war in Israel. Nothing. You know what? There is one thing a governor could do in theory if things are out of hand. A governor could protect the guard and refuse to send the guard, the National Guard, unless Congress declares war. And so assuming that we had to send troops into either the Middle East or into Ukraine, you could stop your National Guard from going unless the Congress declares war. That'd be the only thing. And you'd be sued because what would happen is they would say we have an authorization of use of force. They would say that's declaration of war. It's not. But they would say that and then demand you give it anyway. And then the Supreme Court would probably back the president saying, yep, that's equivalent, so do it. And you'd probably be in trouble. So I guess that could happen maybe, but yeah. Anyway, hope that makes sense. All righty. Let's see here. P says, Mom Donnie did the right thing, cares about New York, but what he wants to do will result in something less than caring. True. Yes. True. Yep. Andrea says, I was spanked not in school, but if teachers complained about me, I'd get it home. Yeah, I didn't get at home, but my father was old school. Beat my derriere with a belt, with a brush, with a slipper. Yes, he was very much about that. Yes, absolutely. Kim was going to say, taking parents' discipline out made parents afraid of discipline. Yep, kids are the center of it all. Yeah, look, our laws and rules have crushed kids, right? Like, you can't leave a kid alone at home. You go to jail. You can't let your kid walk home from school. What's wrong with you? I walked home from school when I was 6. I lived in the South Bronx. The concept that the government could attack a parent in any way, shape, or form because a parent decides to let their kid walk home from school by themselves, shame on us as a society, Kim. Shame on us as a society. That is how we have decided to run. We've decided that government knows better than parents now. Now, are some parents bad? Of course. They're humans, of course. But we know the stats are in. Statistically, kids are always going to be better off with kin than with the system. That is a statistic. Now, don't get me wrong, some parents at kin are bad and harm kids, of course. And some kids go through the system and come out totally fine and amazing. But we know statistically that's not true. So yes, hope that makes sense. All righty. Kinsugi says, everyone gets a participation trophy for being born. Woo. I know. Brona says, we don't talk anymore. Everything is a perceived attack or an actual attack. Disagreement has become vitriol without substance. Here's the problem. It isn't just that. It is now considered violence to make someone feel bad. I'm not joking. That's considered violence now, to make someone feel bad. So harming someone's feelings is harm if it is historical or whatever, which is garbage. I don't mean to be mean. You're a jerk if you insult somebody's race, religion, gender, sexual preference. You're a jerk. It shouldn't be legal or crime or violence. But in many people's minds, it is. And it shouldn't be. You get fired for that kind of stuff, which is bad. You shouldn't, but I get it. But now, in like places like Europe, you can get arrested. I mean, come on. But now you get arrested for hurting someone's feelings. Again, as humans, we should be embarrassed by that. Someone made me feel bad, so they should go to jail. If you, and I don't mean to be mean, but if you can't handle feeling bad when you leave the house, perhaps you shouldn't leave the house. Or perhaps you should find some help so that you can feel okay when you leave the house. And that help can be found online or via phone if you don't want to leave the house. That's the issue. So, yeah, I'm with you. It is not that. Yes. Dave says, military pay will be delayed. Remember, my pay was delayed back in 2011. Yeah, it'll be delayed, but they'll pay. It's not a thing. It's not a thing, right? They will pay them. I believe they will. So, yes. Brona says, spanking is not discipline. Teaching a child violence is not the answer by physically assaulting them. Never made sense to me. Whether that's true or not, the point is parents get to decide. As long as you are not abusing your child. I don't spank my daughters. I was spanked as a kid. Is that good or bad? Whatever. It's a decision I made. It's a decision my parents made. Whether you're right or wrong, Bronner, you have a right to tell people that and hopefully get them to understand that. But parents should discipline their kids as they see fit, as long as they're not abusing. And abusing is it's subjective, but communities often decide what it is often via trial or something like that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, I do not. The damage that's done by the government stepping in is worse than the damage done by a few parents who spank their children. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But if you don't want to do it, I'm okay. You want to do it, I'm okay. So yes. Thomas says the military is about 3 beans. Beans, boots, and bullets. We actually had beans, Band-Aids, bullets. That was 3 B's. B's, Band-Aids, bullets, which is food, medical supplies, ammunition. Yes, those were the 3 we had. So yes. Joe says, when you come out to Niagara County? It's soon. I'm actually coming out pretty soon. Hold on. I will tell you when. It's actually pretty soon. I will be out in Niagara County. Hold on. Where am I? Okay, maybe I'm a liar. I thought I was going about the Nassau's. There I am. Yes, not that soon. Sorry. November 21st. I will be out the evening of Friday, November 21st. So, yes. Hope that answers your question. And when I have it out, I will let you know. It'll be on my website when the time comes. So, yes. All righty. Shelly says, so I hit my kids about twice for each of them and for two specific things: reaching hands on a hot stove and running the traffic. I could see that. Right? I could see that. I could see you spanking your child for something like that. That makes sense to me because you want that to land, because if they screw that up, it's over. Yes, it's over. I completely agree. I could definitely see that. Yep. All right. Literally says, well, this is the first time I'm hearing about an extra X space on top of this long day. Do you tell whose X space that will be? Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. There is an X space. I know. I've done so much. I just can't stop. Yeah. It's punishment. Is what it is. It is punishment. Hold on. It is on, if I can find it. Oh, maybe is it? There we go. Yes. It is going to be Jay Scott, which is on X, which is JS Ascension. JS Ascension on X at 10 p.m. talking about star voting, We the People Party, lobbying, election reform. So we'll see. So I'm thinking I may pop on there for a little bit. So there we go. Hope that answers your question. All righty. Missy says, please please vote in the poll. I was going lol in the vol. That seems kind of dumb. All right. What is the poll today? Hold on. Can I find? Okay. What has been some of the biggest news this week? Government shutdown, Antifa press conference, Chicago, Portland versus ICE. Hold on. Or a certain governor race. Governor race is the answer. That's the one. So yes, interesting poll though. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All righty. I'm grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Oh, you guys going back and forth a lot. I love the back and forth. That's great. I love the back and forth, guys. You guys talk more about other stuff, so that's great. Oh, righty. Michael Long's in the house. He says, I wonder if video games like Call of Duty on the Xbox and PlayStation can be used for political campaigns. I mean, we need video gamers for public office, libertarian video gamers. It's not a bad idea. Should I be one of those let's play and like one night play? I don't know if I haven't played first person shooters in a long time. Like the last first person shooter I played was probably Half-Life. For those of you older, if you remember that, it's probably the last one I played. It's been a long time since I've played a first person shooter. I don't really play first person shooters anymore. I used to. I played when the original Doom came out. I love that. And that's what, 30 years ago, whatever it was. That's a while ago, right? So that one. And the last one I played, I think, was Half-Life, which is what, 20 years ago? I don't really play them anymore. So if I play one of those, I'll probably get my ass kicked because I don't know how to play anymore. It's been so long. I play grand strategy games. That's what I enjoy more than anything else. And who wants to watch that? It's boring. But then again, right? If I was like fun and interesting, I guess I could play it. I would suck at it, but it would be fun. So maybe you're making me think. All right, my team's hearing it. You're gonna see. We're gonna have a meeting probably next week. You got to do that, Larry. We'll see. All right. If I do it and I look bad, Michael, it's your fault. So if I look bad, it's your fault. Yes. All righty. Phil says war is the health of the state. Sadly, I wish that wasn't true. So yes. All righty. Kinzuya agrees with me. She says, I agree. Heal the divide with third parties. Yes. We've been talking about respect the whole time, talking about respect. And I think that's how you get it, right? Why? Because when you have third parties make better Democrats and better Republicans because they hold them accountable. That's the issue. They hold them accountable. Matters tremendously. But we're talking about respect. Here's what I want you to do. Do me a small favor. There is a link in the Facebook, in YouTube, and in the Rumble chat. Head on over to that link. It says link to the advocates. Click that link. And when you get to that link, click over where it says quizzes and apps, right? And political types, but go to quizzes and apps and go to the human respect quiz, human respect test. Take that test. How respectful are you? What's your level of respectfulness? Take a test. It's about 3 minutes. Test your results, get them, and then share them. Yes, take the test, get your results, and then share them. How respectful are you? Yes, you might go, I'm very respectful. Well, the test will tell you if you are so respectful. It'll tell you. And the test is correct. Why? Because I have deemed it so. Done. The advocates for self-government take their human respect test. Most importantly, once you take it's free. Once you take it, share it. That's the critical aspect. And share that same link that is in that description. Link to advocates, share that link. Why? Because the advocates know I'm sending people to the advocates and we're having real conversations. I want you to have conversations about respect. I want you to have conversations about politics. I want you to have conversations about this. And these tests spur conversations. So please take this test. I took it already. Take it again. Take it again and then share it. It is the advocates for self-government. What they're doing here is providing a space for real conversations about how we can have self-government. Right? You have Verona talking about self-government? Yes. You have lunatic libertarians talking about self-government? Yes. Here's how people start to realize, wait a minute, maybe I can do this. They start having the real conversations about what they honestly believe and how it very often does not connect with centralized government. It rarely does. When they see that, they begin to change. This is why I want you to go to the Advocates for Self-Government, take the human respect test. When you get your results, share them. It does matter. Please help me out here. It's free. Knock that right out if you would. All right, let me keep going down the list with some more of these comments if I could. All righty. Kim says, I wouldn't have any vocabulary at all if not for the F word. It is a wonderful word. It is. Mr. Matt's Arcade says, I really like one of Kennedy's campaign slogans, heal the divide. True. That was a very good thing. I enjoyed that. Yes. Joel says, TSA workers are not getting paid and rumor they will not get back pay. So they're not going to work. I hope this ends the TSA. I could see that happen. They may not pay the TSA. I don't know that. I have no inside information, but I'm saying TSA is not military. They will pay military. They will get paid. They'll pay the military. I don't know if they'll pay TSA. I could see them not paying TSA. I think that is possible. I don't want them screwing TSA over. I'm not happy about that. I'm just saying that I could see. That is something that might happen. But military, they'll pay military. Absolutely. Yes, they will absolutely pay military. 100%. So, all righty. Let's see here. Danny says, why did Mermaid Man from SpongeBob come to mind when Larry said evil? Oh, yes, evil. And what's funny is, I wasn't raised on SpongeBob, Danny, but my kids were. And SpongeBob is like, what 20 seasons, something like that? So I remember one of my kids is going to school and her teacher's young and they both know SpongeBob. I'm like, damn, that's weird. So yes, that's weird. But yes, I did. And my kids had never seen what that was based off of. For those who don't know, that was actually based off the old Batman and Robin TV series from the 60s. For those of you who've ever watched SpongeBob, there's Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Is that right? Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. It's actually based off of the old Batman and Robin TV series from the 60s. So I showed my daughters that afterwards. They're like, what? Now it all makes sense. So it blew their minds. So some of you may not know that, but that's actually true. So anyway, all right. Let me walk down this road if I could. I love the back and forth so much. So let me grab a couple more of these. Desiree's here. Hi, Desiree. So glad you're here. Yes. Fran says, the fight will not stop between conservatives and liberals. It will. It will. And here's how I know it will. Because they'll be united against one enemy. Me or whomever else. They'll be united. It does happen all the time. Yes. Frank was going to say, yes, Larry, we are told to plug our noses and vote for the lesser of two evils. Mm-hmm. Our government has gotten more dysfunctional than ever. Status quo remains the same. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Constantly. Again and again and again. Kaiwan says, thing I just watched a Trump Antifa thing and they got no idea what they're doing. They're talking about money Antifa controlling by mutual funds. People controlled by mutual funds. That is ridiculous. Yeah, look, I don't know about this either. I have no idea whether this makes any sense or not. And generally speaking, some of you are not going to like this. I'll be very forward. All that Antifa stuff is more distraction. It is. You might be like, what? How can you say that? They're ruining our cities, blah, blah. People only go there when they're unhappy and can't pay their rent. Why do people want to join Antifa? They want to join them because they think the world's ending because they can't pay their rent. So they either blame Antifa or blame Trump and join Antifa. So get people to do stuff and it goes away. You're fighting a symptom, not an actual issue. When people have purpose, they don't join Antifa. When people have getting things done, have family and friends, they don't join Antifa. And they don't fight Antifa. There's no need. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Give people purpose and make them happy, and this shit's all irrelevant. This is why I don't talk about it. Who cares? You know, all the time, oh, this thing. It's just more of the conflict machine. This is the conflict machine riling you up, hating the Dems or hating the Republicans. Who gives a shit? Be happy. You won't care about this stuff. Find purpose. You won't care about this stuff. This is part of what our colleges have wrecked our kids. Our colleges have shown that the real thing is being an activist. When my oldest daughter was in high school, I had to stop her from doing this garbage. High school, New York City high school, part of graduation, I'm not joking, was showing how you had to be an activist. I'm not joking. Literally true. New York City high school. Why? I'm not saying you should be an activist. I'm one. I'm not saying you should be an activist. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, how the hell is that the number one purpose we have? Being some political activists for some shit. How about build a family out? Build your friend group out. Support your community. How about all those things? That's not a bad idea. So, Phil, thank you for becoming a member. 9 months. Thank you, brother. Larry, we should get you on a Twitch live stream and video game with some Friday Night Type. There we go. I got to go do that. I might get my ass kicked. But I'll be funny at least, Phil. That's what I'll do. I'll be funny. So at least people will laugh as I'm getting my ass kicked. We'll do that instead. So, yeah, there we go. I like that. So, all righty. Third party is stupid comments getting clipped. I like that. That's good. I like that. That's not bad. Okay. All righty. Let's see here. Mr. Matt's okay says, I've watched more Senate hearings and political speeches over the past couple of years than I have my whole life. It's embarrassing how most of the politicians act. I would say they act like children, but that would be an insult to children. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's the same idea. It doesn't mean anything. A lot of this stuff doesn't mean anything. It's all just, it's surface stuff that isn't valuable. And that bothers me. It's all just surface stuff that's not really valuable. I wish it was more. So anyway. All right. Let me keep going down here if I can. All righty. Let's see here. Rick says, people just know things that aren't so. True. Kaiwan asks, do you think that New York is too communist? Too communists are far left or too left to vote for a laboratory, I think you mean libertarian candidate, Larry Sharpe. I think there's a group of people in New York State that would never vote for me. I mean, there's a group. Some people, they're going to vote for their guy or gal no matter what because they believe the R or the D is the answer no matter what. There's that group. And I get that. But that group's probably 20% on each side. So that leaves a whole lot in the middle. That leaves 60% for me to grab. And I don't need 60%. I just need like 40%. So in a three-way race, 40% can be a victory. 35%, 40% can be a victory. So there's a chunk of New York that's too communist, yes, but I don't think it's enough to where a victory is impossible. So hope that makes sense. Craig says voting R&D is stupid, lol. That's kind of cute. I like that. So, all righty, let me keep walking down this road. All righty. So I'm glad you're going back and forth. It's amazing. Yes. Verona says, love the Kim Jong voice, Larry. Oh, thank you. Want those numbers? Yes, correct. All right. If I can grab some of these here. Let's see. Guy So Smooth says, what up, Larry? Glad to see you on again. I think it's more about Americans are looking for a leader that will get our economy up, put the criminals behind bars, and stop messing with the money. Yes. And if you watch what I talk about, I talk, about those types of things constantly. I bring them up always. Yes. Yeah. We constantly bring it up. I talk about those issues. I have four things I bring up, which is opportunity, affordability, safety, and liberty. And those are the things we talk about right there. Absolutely. So, yes. All righty here. Super Weapon says Trump 2.0 is what the left was saying Trump 1.0 was trying to be. Huh. Maybe. I feel like, and I was talking about this with Kim Iverson today, is that I feel like Trump has become meaner this time. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just remember it wrong, but I feel like he's become meaner this time. I think Obama was also meaner his second term, right? I think sometimes we just get tired and he just become mean. Maybe. So, yeah. All righty. Rick says, if Larry can get people to badmouth him across social media day and after the next year, victory. True. True. I wasn't joking when I mentioned that very often if people get angry at me, that still works. Why? Because that becomes legitimacy, right? When you run as a third party, when you run as an independent, legitimacy is the key. So even being yelled at, even being insulted. In 2018, when the Republicans got scared of me at one point, for those of you who remember, in 2018, there was one time when the Republican nominee was being interviewed in Western New York. And one of the reporters said, how are you going to handle Larry Sharpe here in Western New York? You know, Western New York is Sharpe country. And it was live on a video, a local TV station. And the second that happened, literally within, I don't know, a week, there were hit pieces out of Buffalo, hit pieces out of Rochester on me. They were like, oh, we got to get ready. We got to insult Larry Sharpe. So I took all those hit pieces that they gave and I put them on my social media. I was like, great hit pieces, yeah. They were saying I was anti-cop. My father was in law enforcement. Anti-gun. I was the only Second Amendment guy. It's fine. Whatever. Blatantly lies, totally made up. I don't care. I posted them. Why? I raised money off it because it actually made me more legitimate. And that's the issue. So Super Weapon says, what's a volunteer call? It's a call that I'm on with others who are volunteering. We talk about what you can do, how you can help. It's a call for volunteers to get together and figure out what's our next step. What are we doing? How do we act? That's what a volunteer call is. It goes about an hour, give or take, usually, and it's almost every Wednesday at 9 p.m. How do you know that? You sign up to be a volunteer, and you get the link if you want to come. So, yes, that's how it works. So, there we go. Becky says, I missed the decorum that existed pre-Trump. Maybe it's always been this bad, but I never became aware of it until Trump ran for president. I think there was decorum. I agree. I'm not sure it was good or bad for us. The good thing about decorum is it did make us feel better. I think that's true. It made us feel better. The worry I have is that it covered up things that probably shouldn't have been covered up. And it also, I think, made it feel like things were going well when they weren't. So there's some of that. So, yeah. Brona says, Thomas Sowell for End the Fed 2026. Yes. And Brona, if you know, Sowell was at one point a Marxist. He was. And then he had different information, different experiences, and he became, I would say, one of the best libertarians we have in the country. Yes. So, all righty. I covered all those. Any more I have to grab? So many of these. I appreciate these. All right. I love the back and forth, too. Shelley says, Larry, you've been to Pearl, New York. One of your many trips to Greene County. We were talking about the Catskills. Oh, that's what it was. Thank you. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Thank you for that. Then it says, can't wait to wear my campaign shirt. Definitely going to wear it to the gym tomorrow. And thank you to help out. Got you back, Larry. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that tremendously. Yes, every little bit counts. And I gotta start wearing some merch too. So I gotta wear some merch also. So we'll all be wearing some merch. That's great. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Desiree says, more people are saying we need more parties. Yes, because we do. We need more parties. Absolutely. The more, the better. It's not a magical solution. It isn't. But what winds up happening is when you're a third party, this is what changes. If you guys don't get why this matters so much. When there are two parties, all I have to do is go, okay, I know Desiree is bad and I'm bad too. But Desiree killed 3 people. I only killed 1. So I'm just the murderer. She's a mass murderer. You don't want to vote for her, a mass murderer. Vote for the murderer. And that's it. But now there's 3 or 4 parties. Desiree's still a mass murderer. I'm a regular murderer. But you know what? Shelley didn't murder anybody. And Phil just robs people. So wait a minute. Now I got to rethink. Me only murdering 1person, Desiree murdering 3, they might just want to go for the burglar, Phil, Or maybe go for Shelley, who hasn't done any of that stuff. Now the options change. So me going Desiree bad doesn't work anymore because they'll just go, well, you're bad too. I'm going to vote for Shelley or for Phil. So that's why the extra part right there changes. Now I can't just go Desiree's bad. I now have to go, and here is why I'm good, because I'm better than Shelley and I'm better than Phil, and here's why. It changed it all. Not just that. Desiree has a good idea to fix something. I don't have a good idea. I don't have any policies. I just yelled Desiree bad. But Desiree has some answers. She's got a plan. She's going to fix something. Well, I just dismiss her. See, you can't listen to Desiree. She's a mass murderer. So clearly everything she says is wrong. How can you be supporting mass murderers? Boom, idea finished. But now Shelley and Phil are there. And they go, whoa, Larry, what's your idea then? You don't like Desiree's idea. What's yours? Desiree bad. Doesn't work. There's so many advantages to having multiple parties, even if those parties don't win. It changes how things work. It changes. That's what matters. So yes. D says, I'm going to donate to Larry's campaign to get that awesome pullover. People in Florida will probably ask why I'm wearing a New York hoodie. My response will be, what happens in New York will happen here. True. Oh, I love that. Yes. Very true. I agree. Yes, absolutely. Daniel says, defend the guard. Yep. That's the best option we have right there. Yes, absolutely. Defend the guard's critical. All righty. Let's see here. Got that one. Fran says, the shoestring with your house key around your neck coming off the bus at 5 or 6 years old, the good old days. Yes. It's true. Yes. It's funny how that works. Right. So, all righty. Bruno says, I get Fran's sentiment, but Massey's a lone wolf in the Republican Party, a pariah among many of them. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Continue says, yeesh, I only got the belt. Parents in the day didn't play. Yeah. I got many things. The belt, the brush, the slipper, the hand. Yes. When I was real little, my dad used to grab me. He had big hands. So he'd grab me and grab both of my wrists with one hand and lift me up with one hand and smack my bottom with the other. So I couldn't get my hand to cover my butt as he was smacking me. So yes, true. Absolutely true. So yes. Nate says, Larry Sharpe Chicken Barbecue on Night American Legion, Sunday, October 19th. Yes. If you're in Central New York, come meet Larry and eat delicious food. I will be there. It's true. Yes. So if you can get to the American Legion there, that's awesome. That actually is already on my Facebook page and also on my website. So if you want to check that out, you can see that. I will be there. It's true. We're hanging out, eating chicken barbecue, hang out there, and you can just sit and chat with me if you want to. If you're in Central New York, come on by. That's the weird part. So I can just sit and hang out and eat chicken with Larry and talk? Yes. Literally, yes. Just come talk to me. Yes, I will just be there. I'll probably have a couple people with me, but so what? Just come. 100%. Phil says, Larry Tolsik never sleeps. Because I don't. Because I don't. Yes. Riot says, spanking was the only thing that worked on me as a kid. Abuse and spanking are the same thing. True. You know, I've said it before, and people don't like when I say it. But I think sometimes, particularly young boys need their ass whipped. And people go, Larry, that's good. I still think it's true. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't have any boys, so I never beat my kids. But if I had a boy, I probably would have whipped his ass every once in a while. I probably would have. My ass was whipped a couple times. I probably would have done it. I don't know. So anyway, that's where my head is. If I ever have a boy, maybe I have some kids, maybe I have a boy, maybe I'll pop him in the butt. Who knows? So yes. All righty. Kinsey says he's a glutton for punishment. True. Yes. True. Yes. Yeah. I tend to do that. Yeah. Monothread says, I love the original Doom 2. Yes. I love Doom and I love Doom 2. After that, the next Dooms to me were kind of weird. That's why I stopped playing. I didn't like them. I love Doom 1 and Doom 2. I love those, both of those. And I finished them both multiple times. I enjoyed them. And I loved Half-Life. I played Half-Life all the way through more than once. 2 or 3 times. Finished the entire thing. Loved it. Absolutely. Yeah. Nate says, gun range event sounds more fun than video games. True. I'm a much better shot, by the way. Like real life, much better. Yes. Shelley says, when you're governor, Larry, will you laugh at funny AI-generated jokes? Of course. There'll be so many of them. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So Phil says, there are a lot of Tim Pool shows that aren't worthwhile, but I thought it was very interesting showing the fight for the heart and soul of the Republican Party after Trump. Well, yeah, but Phil, call up Tim and have me on. I've been on like 3 times. I'm going to go on again now. Now that I'm running, maybe he'll have me on again. So I want to go on. So yes. So the more the merrier. Danny says, SpongeBob will forever be classic. Lol Barnacle Boy. Yes. I said, I remember that. I was hoping people were going to remember that. I thought it was just me. No, I remembered. Absolutely. I remember that 100%. Yeah. I remember it again because it was based upon the Batman thing, right? That's why I remembered it, because it was based upon that. So I kept it. So yeah. All righty. Phil says, I was too old when SpongeBob came on. I was too, but I had kids. So I'm a dad. For those guys who know me, I am very connected to my children's lives. So I watch movies with them. And I think I told a story before, but I think it's a very interesting story. The first piece is, I remember when my oldest daughter, was on her iPad. She's probably, I don't know, 11, 12, in that area. And she's out there, and she's watching at the time PewDiePie. PewDiePie is still popular, but he used to be like the most popular. He was crazy popular. And she was watching him, and he was watching someone else play a video game. And I was like, what? Watching him play someone else? I didn't get it. So I asked her, I said, why are you watching that? Like, I don't get it. Tell me why. I thought, well, either you played a video game or you watched like someone showing you how to play a video game, like a tutorial or something. That's what I thought. That's what my head was. And she said, Dad, I feel like I'm watching it with him. And I went, done. That will happen exactly one time. That will never happen again. And so I watched with her. And I used to watch my youngest one. There was a youngest one. There was one of them that she would open up toys. I don't remember what the toys were called, but the person was called, her name was Cookie Swirl C. And my littlest one would watch that, and she would love when he do the opening up of the toys and see, what doll you got or whatever. I don't remember. And then she'd play with the dolls and stuff. And I watched it, and we laughed, and we were together, and I held my daughter, and we were together. I was not going to let PewDiePie raise my daughters. And I'm not mad at PewDiePie. Make your money, PewDiePie. Do you. Raise someone else's daughters. You're not raising mine. I will be the guy who will sit there, and we'd watch together. There was another guy that my youngest would watch, was Corey Kenshin. I don't know if you guys ever watch him. He actually does used to, this is years ago, he used to do like playthroughs. So like he'd play a game and we'd watch him laugh at the game or whatever, play. And sometimes we'd get the game. So like, if it was a cool game, me and my oldest like play the game together. Her and I would play together. We played, oh Jesus, terrible game, but I played it anyway. Like I played it. I hated this shit. I hated it. It's for kids. I'm not a kid, but I sat through all of it and played with them and hang out. We played a game called Danganronpa. Garbage game, but I didn't care. My daughter's playing together. I still have a Minecraft account. I play Roblox with my kids. I don't like Roblox. I play with them. I spent time and energy. I understood what they were doing. I played with them. And the other rule, I think I told some of you guys who watched this before, when I grew up as a kid, you had board games, and you would play board games with the family at night, right? You all play together at a board game, weekend, whatever. Well, board games weren't really a thing for my daughters. They liked playing Roblox or Minecraft or whatever, things like that. So I said, okay, you can play, no worries. But we're going to play together, all of us together, in like the living room, all together in the dining room. So we'd all play together. So we'd all play Minecraft together. We'd all play Roblox together. So it was still a family event. They were still playing the cool game that their friends were playing because they wanted their friends to play and wanted to know what's going on. But I made it a family event that I was involved. Like I knew who she was with and what was happening in Roblox. Like there was no chance that she was going to get, talked to by certain personnel. That wasn't going to happen because Dad was there. So yes. So I went very long on that, Phil, but also means I sat back and I watched SpongeBob SquarePants with my kids. I watched Teen Titans Go with my kids. Breadwinners. Oh geez. Dora the Explorer. I forgot all the things, but I would sit with them and watch and laugh and talk. And that's how I know them all. Not because I like them, but I was not going to let my kids grow up without me and have someone else raise my kids. Nope. And I'm still to this day involved with it. Like we still have inside jokes. We still watch TV together. Still do it. Hasn't changed. So I'm very much involved with my kids' life when it comes to that. It's one reason why I trust them so much. It's why I don't give them a curfew. It's why they don't rebel against me. I don't give them any reason to rebel. So anyway, way off topic, but thanks, Phil. John says they join Antifa because George Soros pays them to demonstrate with taxpayer money. Yes, but, and here's the but, John. If I've got a job that pays me good money and I have a purpose for that job, I have a career that I care about, I don't care about his cheesy money to go demonstrate. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I got to miss my work. I got to take a chance I'm going to screw my whole job up. No. You got to pay me a whole lot of money, like a whole lot. If I got a career and a job and a family and friends, I'm not doing it. That's the point. Yes, but because they don't have anything else. I'm not saying you're wrong, but again, it's destroyed immediately with a bunch of people who got other shit to do. That is my point, right? That's the piece that I think matters. So anyway, alrighty. Let me go down here. Danny says, I have to say I'm enjoying this version of Antifa this time around. The unicorn and beaver dancing gets me every time. That is fun. I mean, you're not wrong. Yes. Yes. Bruno says, you brilliantly expounded upon my point, Larry, about the attack and betrayal comment. Thanks, bro. Of course. Yes, absolutely. Robert says, I cannot agree that Thomas Sowell is brilliant. His diminishment of what race/racism did to the black institution in America, from the black families and outward, means I can't take him seriously. You are incorrect, Robert. He is on the money, and he puts together an issue that people don't get. And the problem is because he's against the traditional issues, because he doesn't say that slavery was the worst thing that ever happened, people get mad at him. He wasn't saying that racism didn't exist. He's not saying slavery wasn't terrible. But here's the thing to remember, and if you really understand it, here's his point that I agree with. And that is, while slavery was clearly horrible, no one's going to say it isn't. I don't know why I have to say it, but in case the old police come out, I got to say, of course it was. But that's not what destroyed black people in America. That's not what destroyed the black family. It isn't. The apartheid afterwards was far worse. Many peoples have been enslaved. But once slavery was ended for whatever their issue was, they got to go back and be whoever they wanted to be. They got to keep their culture and go back. And they were able to recover and heal and do all the things that were required. They were able to do that. Black Americans were not. That's the exception, literally the only exception on the entire planet. That's true. You're right. But slavery wasn't the worst thing. As horrible as it sounds, it's still bad. But if we were able to just go off and do our own thing and not be affected and not be trashed and not have an apartheid world, that wasn't the case. Again, done by government, by the way. And that's his point. People, meaning average people, didn't care about that stuff. They didn't. And people are, no, they're all right. It's just not true. It's demonstrably true. How do I know this? Because once they stopped segregation in the South, integration was huge. There's more integration in the South than there is in the North. There is. And there has segregation. If people would have naturally segregated and would have naturally been anti-black, there'd be no need for the laws. They had to make the law because the guy who has a diner would have been like, I need people to eat my diner. Black people have money too. You can eat my diner. That's what would have happened. How do I know that? That's what happens now. That's what would have happened. So they had to make laws to say, no, you can't have black people in your diner. They had to make those laws in the South, and they did. So that was the hard part. But even with that, the black family still survived. Why? And this is the part that even, and this is a little bit crazy, but even Killer Mike said this. He said this. He said there was an advantage to segregation. I'm not behind segregation, but this is the point that Thomas Sowell's making, that the black community had to have all the things. They had to have a black lawyer. You couldn't go to the white one. They had to have a black doctor. You couldn't go to the white one. They had to have a black, shoe repairman because you can't go to the white one. So you had to have full out black communities because you couldn't go to the white ones. And Killer Mike, this is about 10 years ago, tried in Atlanta, a very black city, to say he wanted to live 30 days. And he's got money, live 30 days only with black-owned businesses. He couldn't do it. He couldn't last a week. He couldn't last a week going in only black-owned businesses. That's a problem. This is what Thomas Sowell's saying. If this was before if this was before the war on poverty and the war on drugs, it was before all that shit, the 60s that wrecked the black family, the liberal policies that wrecked the black family, Before that, you could have done it. You could have been in Atlanta, Memphis, probably New York, in Harlem. You could have gone to and lived in stuff only on black businesses. You could have done it if you wanted to. You could have. You can't now. So what slavery couldn't do, destroy the black family, what apartheid couldn't do, destroy the black community, policies did. That's his point. And he's right. And it isn't because people are racist. People aren't naturally racist. People are naturally tribal. There's a difference. People are naturally tribal. You can create tribes over anything. Now, you could create tribes over baseball teams, over where you live, your religion, your skin color. You could. But what do we create it over? Government made it over race. That's his point, and he's right. Not only should you take him seriously, you should listen to what he's saying. He's correct. Thomas Sowell is correct. Yes. So, all right. Let me walk down here if I can. Liberty says, time to relax the voice. I know. I keep talking. I gotta stop, don't I? Yeah. I don't know. Shelley says, Obama is at his meanest in the last election, where he hollered at black men for it. Yes, Obama became meaner. He was very nice and like loving and stuff in his first ones. Then, yeah. Robert says, honestly, I don't think libertarians can help black Americans, which refuse to deal with race in America. You are, again, 100% wrong. Brother, you're 100% wrong. The only group of people who are ready to help black Americans are libertarians. Why? What will save black America? What will save black America? Two things. Ending the war on drugs completely. And two, entrepreneurism at the local level. Only libertarians support both of those two. Only libertarians. No one else does. No one else does. Getting rid of all this stuff, licensing for the black community, letting the black community grow on its own. What has gotten every single immigrant community out of their poor community? Entrepreneurism. Every one of them. Whether they were Eastern European Jews, whether it was Italians from Southern Europe, whether Irish from the British Isles, Africans from Nigeria, doesn't matter. Every single Chinese, Japanese, doesn't matter where they came from. Doesn't matter. In every single case, Latinos coming from Mexico, doesn't matter. Entrepreneurism and that spirit is what saved them. Puerto Ricans coming from Puerto Rico, you name it, Dominicans, every one of them that came out of poverty in any way, entrepreneurism. Who was not allowed to do so? Black Americans. Because at first the apartheid rules, then the anti-black rules for buying houses and buying property, which is all government run, and then lastly, licensing, which crushes black Americans. Those three things. Absolutely. I completely disagree. Libertarian is the only way, the only one. You, brother, I'm glad you're here. You are absolutely 100% wrong. 100% wrong. So, what she says, live for governor, official, glad to hear. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. I think it's the only way. So, yes. Robert says, America willingly admits it broke every black institution they built, family, communities, wealth, etc. They're just saying that they're going to leave black Americans alone and deal with the consequences. No argument for me. No argument. You're right. No argument. I'm agreeing with that. Yes, I'm agreeing. There's no argument. All I'm saying is, how do we fix it? We don't fix it by throwing more money at the problem while putting black people in jail, which is what the answer has been. The right just goes, lock them up. The left goes, give money, then lock them up. That's not it. Libertarians say, leave them alone, stop locking them up, and let them be entrepreneurs they want to be. How about that? And help them be entrepreneurs. Help support them. Help support black farmers. Let them be entrepreneurs. Yeah, how about that? So, yeah. Shelley says, I watched everything my kids watched when I was at home. My kids watch what their kids watch. My grandson figured out how to use a remote to subscribe to channels when he was not yet two. That's funny. Yes, I love that. That is good. So, Master Manawa says, I was strong-armed to playing Minecraft with my son and learned to appreciate the sandbox games. Yeah, I do. I'm with you. Yes. Yeah. Mana Threat says, love Stratego. Oh, I did like that game too. One of my favorite ones, though, was actually Axis and Allies. I like that one. That was a good one. Nate says, I watch all the blogs with Kiddo. Sniper Wolf and Darman. Yes. Oh, I can't stand Darman. But yeah, I've watched Darman too. I can't stand Darman. I don't mind Sniper Wolf. She's fine. But oh my God, no. Oh, Darman. The worst. But yes, I'm with you. I watched it too. Yes. As much as I couldn't stand it. I totally did. Yes. Rick says, sovereignty for blacks, for everyone is the answer. Liberty. Absolutely. John says, President Trump's enterprise zones for a large number of minority-owned businesses. That's the key. Liberal mayor's response to COVID destroyed those small businesses, and BLM riots burned those houses to the ground. BLM riots didn't burn those houses to the ground. That's not true. But the COVID did destroy the businesses. It's true. BLM mostly destroyed businesses not owned by Black people. Most of them did. So yeah, but yeah, totally. Both are bad. I agree. Guys, here's what I want to ask you. I've asked you already to like it. Please do so. If you would like to, I appreciate it. But something else, remember that when we're done with this, please head back and put a comment. Put a comment if you would. I've asked for a lot, but here's what I'm going to ask you. What do you think of third parties? That's been a big deal tonight. What do you think of third parties? What's your opinion? Please put a comment down after the live. What do you think about third parties? If you're watching this a couple of days later when it's not live, you'll see 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them immediately for about 8 to 10 minutes. Mr. Rhythm, Algo, loves them. I will see you all very soon.